Have you ever wanted to buy a game for like 15 cents? The quality of the games may vary, which roughly translates to, these games are gonna suck. Which brings us to the magical world of Steam. Nothing's better than just turning on your computer, logging on, and seeing all of those sweet, sweet deals. Thank you, Gaben. Steam has over 781 million games in its library. But if we take out all the anime dating sims, that leaves at least 1,000 games that are different. So it's no surprise that, yeah, some of them are ungodly awful, and others are straight up Nintendo ripoffs trying to cash in on, hey, this is totally a Mario game, kids, honestly, believe us, please buy it. And we're gonna check some of them out. Of course we are. So first up, we have a game called 8-Bit Boy. I know, super original. We take control of this 8-bit boy who jumps with his hand in the air, walks from left to right, and needs to platform and jump on enemies to defeat them. Oh yeah, and when he jumps, he makes this very specific sound. Oh, it's so interesting. I was recently just talking with my friend Shigeru Miyamoto, and he mentioned that he had this exact idea for a game 30 years ago called Super Mario Bros. Oh wait, that's because he did, and he made that exact game 30 years ago! And that's what this game is copying! What are you so happy about? So 8-Bit Boy is clearly a Super Mario Bros. Inspired game, and to be fair, it isn't that bad at all. Its controls are really solid and responsive, and the visuals are really impressive. The color palette is so vibrant and strong, really giving the retro throwback style that we've seen so often these days its own unique look. The story also won me over pretty quickly. 8-Bit Boy is out of a job, and quite frankly, he's depressed about it. Oh, relatable. Then he suddenly remembers all the good times he had as a kid, playing his trusted 8-bit console. Can't say Nintendo because, you know, order in the court. Overall though, the game is pretty good. It's Mario. There's not much else I can say. You like jumping around? You'll like 8-Bit Boy. And how could you not? It was nominated for Best Danish Game in 2013 at the Danish Gaming Awards. That's gotta be prestigious. But no, okay. You want a game that really doesn't care that it's ripping something off? Here's Box Maker. What do we have here? A side-scrolling platformer in which you create your own stages with a level editor, which you can then put online for other users to play. You know, all 6 of them, as well as you getting to download and play other players' user-submitted levels. And when you beat the stage, you get this yellow stream behind a starry background. Oh, come on, they didn't even try to cover that up. Yep, it's shitty Mario Maker. However, since there are less people playing this game compared to Mario Maker, shocker, I know, there aren't as many unique or interesting levels. Just a lot of mediocrity. I like the main character though, a cute bunny wearing a red hat and blue overalls, because we really need to drive home what this game is trying to be. That'll be $6, please. Thousands of years have passed since magic was lost to mankind, but man fears what he does not understand. Aw, man, I don't remember signing a permission slip to come on this fields trip. And thus we have Rosencruz Stilete. Probably. I definitely butchered that. You can't throw games in other languages my way when I've barely mastered my own. So the game is about anime girls. 10 out of 10. So we follow my wife-to-be around this magical world where magic isn't a thing anymore. But it kind of is. I don't know. I got lost looking at cute anime girls. But wait a minute, why am I playing this? What Nintendo game is... Ah! It's a Megaman. Yep, definitely did not see that one coming. But honestly, it's a really welcome surprise. How come I've never heard of this game until now? Probably because even if I did hear it, I probably wouldn't have remembered Rosencruz Stilete. What accent is that? Come on now, we both know you could have just called this Mega Waifu and we would have been good. I don't have much to say about this one apart from it's Mega Man. You shoot lemons, slide, stiffly jump your way through levels, fight bosses at the end, and steal their powers that in turn change the color of your hair. The visuals are such a unique case. It's clear that the game is done in a pixel art style, but the backgrounds are such high quality. Like, personally, this is what I feel like Mega Man 11 should have looked like. A mix of retro and modern. Oh, and the music! I'm about to have a controversial opinion. It's obvious that Mega Man games have a rockin' soundtrack, but dare I say, this one is better. How is that not so amazing? I feel so hyped I may consider going for a run. I said may consider. The story is also a nice touch, building the world and giving you some emotional attachment to everything. Here's some more music. I love this. It's only $10 and definitely worth it. Now, I'd be remiss not to mention another Mega Man clone on Steam. This one called 20XX. It's a fairly decent ode to the Blue Bomber, taking control of a kid in a mech suit who gains new blasters and swords to help them on their adventure. The game, however, has more of a Metroidvania feel to it, with more expansive levels to explore. Think if Mega Man and Metroid had a baby. It's pretty good. Here's a game called Blowhards. How fitting. Not only because is it a pun of the game, which is a 4-player Smash clone in which the only attack is blowing air, but also because this game blows hard. So you can pick between one of two characters. How diverse. Newt and Toot. Alright, you're lucky they have awesome names. I can't be upset at that. You're then thrown into a stage and need to knock your opponent off the map, like in Smash. However, as I mentioned earlier, you can only do this by blowing air. Yay. To be fair though, it's honestly pretty funny. The more damage you build up, the farther you'll go flying at a gust of wind. And there is a certain level of challenge to the game. The cartoony cel-shaded visuals also add a level of charm. But after 5 minutes, you get the point. It's kind of like if the new Smash game only had Link and Toon Link as playable characters, and their only attacks were throwing the boomerang. It'd be interesting, but at the same time, what the fuck? So here's another pretty good game. It'll Do. We take control of a green-clothed adventurer, and it's a Zelda clone. The game starts up with our main hero, It'll, passed out on a raft next to his fairy weasel thing. Hey, don't look at me like that. He then gets stranded on an island and needs to adventure because, why not? Now, It'll Do may look like a generic Zelda ripoff, but there's actually a ton of charm to be found here. My favorite piece of this game has to be the writing. Remember that Weasel Fairy? His name is Tipsy and is meant to be the Navi-type character, but he's super unmotivated and sarcastic in everything he says. Like, look at this guy. I love him. He's pretty much me. I also really enjoy the art style. The outlines jitter around and give off a huge early to mid-2000s Cartoon Network vibe. Like, this is pretty much how Ed, Edd and Eddy looked. But who cares about all that stuff? This is a game. So, how's the gameplay? It's fine. It's old school top-down Zelda. Solve puzzles, defeat enemies, traverse dungeons, the works. I like it. It's really charming, to be honest. It's like if Nintendo were to make another Wind Waker-style Zelda game, but done in the old-school style. Speaking of which, Nintendo, that's not a bad idea. The game just takes itself a lot less seriously, though. It's more laid-back and wacky. Everything from It'll's animations, the dialogue of the characters, and this! That about sums the game up. This game is called Blue Kid, and with a name like that, who needs success? It's another Mario ripoff! I guess? Just gotta jump on these things and make it to the end. Clearly, it's so challenging. Let's just beat this game and get it over with. Okay, so wow, this went from 0 to 100 real quick like. The final world is Satan's domain. I don't know how else you'd explain this. And they're just throwing everything at you. I think I need many adults. And the final boss is Satan himself. 10 out of 10. Okay, let's wrap things up with another actually good game. Freedom Planet. The game starts off pretty intense. We visit this Japan-like planet where aliens are invading and we're in the middle of a war between them and the squirrel samurai people. Yeah, what else would they be? We then cut to this anthropomorphic dragon and wildcat with the ultimate what the hell is going on look. And then... oh nice, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, I know Sonic isn't a Nintendo franchise, but when am I ever gonna talk about this game again? Freedom Planet is honestly one of the best Sonic the Hedgehog games to come out in the past 15 years. You run from left to right, go fast, platform, make it to the end, and defeat enemies. It's Sonic!
I'd much rather be hilariously edgy.
The game has absolutely gorgeous visuals and is well polished. There's also full-fledged voice acting and cutscenes that are really well done to keep things fresh and interesting.
So, I needed to find my father's killer. Not like a couple traitors like yourselves would care.
There's also a ton of extra features in the game, so you don't end up getting bored with just running really fast all the time. There's new power-ups, special moves, other playable characters with their own unique moves. It's honestly really fun, and a huge treat for any Sonic fan out there. I definitely recommend this one as well. And those were just some of the Nintendo ripoff games that can be found on Steam. To be honest, they're all pretty cheap and are worth getting for different reasons. Some are genuinely good and underrated titles, while others can be more just for a fun time with friends, being like, man, Mario Maker sure looks different, or you could just read some Steam reviews. -97 out of 5 stars. Harsh.